And Nomoskar there everyone, this is me here with my fourth video and I'm really getting used to it, I guess. Well, my filming is like begging, I know. I'm a pro in being new. But I hope I will get it one day. So let's move to today's topic, which is the silliest mistakes you can make, most probably, if you don't know it beforehand. Well, NEET UG is such an exam which is aimed in eliminating students, so they are going to set a paper so that many students get eliminated and they get a green layer of students for the medical seats. So they are going to make the paper in such a way that you can make a mistake without even knowing it, and that's called a silly mistake. Afterwards, while analyzing the paper, you'll get to know that you have done a mistake and you'll be like, how can I mistake in such a silly thing? How dumb am I? What level of dumbness? Of course, you'll have to pay that thing with 4 marks and -1. And of course, you'll get many chances to realize these mistakes and so that you can be aware of them in your mock tests and coming minor and major tests. So with that intention that you never make such mistakes, which I need, this video goes. So without much gonna chilling, let's go directly into the video. This video is the point of view of an average student and no arrogance is intended. An average student or a below average student is vulnerable enough to make these mistakes, but it may not happen for all. But what it's for is prevention is always better than regret.
So coming to the first type of question, that is questions for counting. Before we start, I would like to say that we are assuming that we are in a hurry, but we don't want to make mistakes.
So coming to type 1 questions, that is questions for counting, where we need to count a particular group of elements with a particular characteristic mentioned in the question. The question given in the example is how many of the diseases given below are vector-borne diseases: chikungunya, filariasis, dengue, malaria, pneumonia, ascariasis, and diphtheria. So chikungunya is a vector-borne disease, filariasis as well is a vector-borne disease, dengue is also a vector-borne disease, malaria as well, pneumonia is not a vector-borne disease, ascariasis by contaminated water and food, and diphtheria also is not a vector-borne disease. So the answer to this question is 4. Now in a hurry, what the silly mistake goes is students often mark option 4 to be the correct answer, but the options, as you can see, are option 1 3, option 2 4, option 3 5, and option 4 6. So if we mark option 4 as correct, the answer which will be checked is 6, which is wrong. Option 2 says that 4 of the above diseases are vector-borne. So option 2 here is correct. So this is the first silly mistake. Coming to the second type of question, which is questions for matching. Identify the parts labeled A, B, C, and D in the given below diagrams and select the right option. This is the diagram, you can pause and see. Correct answer here is the part 3, which says A is root apical meristem, B is protoderm, C is shoot apical meristem, D is axillary bud. But the twist comes when we see that options are not these which are stated right below the question, but they are actually given below statements. And here are the options. Option 1 says 2, option 2 says 4, option 3 says 1, and option 4 says 3. So as per the answer goes, box 3 is correct, so option 4 which says 3 will be the correct option here, rather than option 3 which says 1. Coming to type 3, which is importance of words. Here we have 2 examples. The first example is a question from physics which says, given below are 2 statements. Statement 1, when a capacitor is discharged through a resistance, then charge decreases logarithmically. Statement 2 is, if resistance and capacitance both are doubled, then time constant becomes double of the initial value. Statement 2 is incorrect. Coming to statement 1, which confused me in the test, was when a capacitor is discharged through a resistance, then charge decreases logarithmically. The word logarithmically brings the significance in this statement. If we don't see logarithmically, then this statement is correct. But in a rush and hurry, many students might do the same mistake as I did. That shows that each and every word of the question is really very important, and we need to read the full question, underlining each and every word important in the question and which brings significance. Statement 1 is also incorrect. That is why the correct option here is both statements 1 and 2 are incorrect. Coming to the next question of the same type, which says, which of the following is not a criteria for successful transplantation? Option 1 says blood group matching, option 2 is tissue typing, option 3 is pre- and post-operative immunopotentiation, and option 4 is steroid therapy. Blood group matching, obviously it is a very important criteria for transplantation. Tissue typing as well is an important criteria. Option 4, which is steroid therapy, done for a period after and before the transplantation. Now coming to option 3, which is pre- and post-operative immunopotentiation. The mistake I did was I read the word immuno and directly went to the 4th option without minding the word potentiation. We know that in a successful transplantation, immunity is suppressed, not potentiated. And thus option 3 here goes correct. What I did was I ticked option 4. So this was the type 3 question. Coming to type 4, ignorant of the joint options. In a hurry, a student may skip looking for options and directly ticks what is not actually an option but is a statement. The question given is choose the correct statement or statements. Sex of a child is determined by the genetic makeup of the particular sperm which fertilizes the egg, which is the correct statement. After giving multiple mock tests, what a student may find as a strategy is looking for the most appropriate option, not wasting time reading the other option. But that is a very big mistake. If a student ticks this option 1 and goes on to read the other next questions, then it may prove wrong because the options are below the statements. The second statement says fowls show male heterogamity, which is wrong because fowls, that is hen and cock, show female heterogamity. Third option is grasshopper shows female heterogamity, which also is wrong because grasshoppers show male heterogamity and butterflies show female heterogamity. Option 4 is double XY chromosomal makeup leads to Klinefelter's syndrome, which is correct. So the correct option here will be option 3 that says 1 and 4 are correct. Coming to type 5 question.
It was a very funny moment when I realized this mistake, when my teacher made me realize this mistake. The question is, a particle of mass 2 kg, 2 milligram is having charge of 2 microcoulomb. Through what potential difference must it be accelerated, strained from rest to acquire a speed of 10 meters per second? The formula used here is half of mv square is equal to charge into potential difference, which is conservation of energy theorem. What we need to do is we need to convert the given units into their SI units, like 2 milligram. What mistake I did was I converted milligram to gram but forgot to convert gram again into kilogram, for which I got the answer to be 50 kilovolt, which should be 50 volt instead.
Lastly, I would like to give you some tips for filling the OMR. Do not keep the OMR to be filled at the last, that is after completing all the 3 subjects. A nightmare seen by almost every NEET aspirant is if the OMR goes wrong, every bit of hard work will go in vain. A tale which is very famous is a very brilliant student who was filling their OMR at the last of their exam could not fill the last question because there was no space for it, and thus that proved that their whole OMR sheet has gone wrong. Always read the question number and the option ticked looking at the question paper, and afterwards read that same question number and bubble the option looking at the OMR sheet. This reading will assure that you have marked the particular option for the particular question only. And also, I'd recommend you to first dot the options, and then after dotting one subject, you can recheck it. And also, one advantage added to this is when you bubble continuously without looking at the question paper again and again, you take comparatively lesser time than when you bubble looking at one question at a time and putting the answer with little breaks. Write your roll number correctly and accordingly mark the OMR of your roll number, being very, very focused. Check it at least twice in the whole exam, once after writing it and afterwards at the end of the exam, just to relieve yourself that you have written it correctly. These were the tips and tricks of OMR sheet filling and silly mistakes which I had to discuss in this video. I know that this has gone boring. Second part of the strategy video will be followed by this one, so stay connected and like, share and subscribe to my channel. See you in my next video.